everyone, my name is Evie van Akker and I'm an Olympic medalist from London 2012, and I'm very excited to be here today for the very first race of the Sailing Energy Series. Just a couple of days ahead of the first Sailing Grand Slam of 2026, the Princesa Sofía Trophy. We'll be kicking off with the ILCA 6 class with 8 female sailors representing 8 nations, and we have maybe a small fleet, but it's packed with talent, skill and lots of experience. We have Olympic bronze medalist Flem Høst from Norway, world champion Plasschaert and Erdi from Belgium and Hungary, and reigning European and world rank #1 Munch from Denmark. The concept of today is really simple. It's one 15-minute race where we will start with a reach, followed by a short downwind, a little bit of a longer upwind, a short downwind again, and then we finish again with a reach. And there's a little twist to this race, because the winner is not just the one that crosses the finish line first, but the one that also managed to grab the €100 bill from the finish line. So whoever grabs that money first will win. We have a glamorous day today. The sun is out, the sea breeze is in full swing, so let's go.
Thanks, Evie. We're just a few minutes from the start of this ILCA 6 race. My name's Andy Rice. Let's hear from some of the competitors, starting with Belgium's Plasschaert.
I think it's a great way of promoting the sport. I'm super excited to try a different format as well. We've never had a reaching start, so yeah, looking forward to that.
So yes, this is new territory for these sailors. The reaching start has become very much a factor in Grand Prix racing like in Sail GP, but it's a new thing for these ILCA 6 sailors. Let's hear from Erdi.
Kind of format. I have some ideas. I don't know if they will work. I think I'm going to do some time on distance before the start, practice how I hit the line at 0. But yeah, it's a bit of uncharted territory for me. So yeah, just take it how it goes, and see where I end up. I don't think I can control it too much.
So we've heard from 2 ILCA 6 world champions already, and they are just 2 of these 8 competitors. There they are, Plasschaert from Belgium, Erdi, both world champions. Flem Høst, bronze medalist from Paris 2024. Munch, the reigning European champion from Denmark. McMahon, the Irish sailor, bronze medal last year. Zoe Thomson from Australia, Agata Barvinska. And there we have our starting lineup. There's just 30 seconds to the start, and it's going to be a matter of, do you choose the bottom left-hand corner, the what we call the leeward gate, sorry, the leeward pin end, that's the orange flag, or do you go committee boat end? It looks like it could be pretty busy up at the committee boat end. So here we are, final 10 seconds, and that boat on the far left, that's Hungary's Erdi. She's made a late bid for the start. Is she going to leave the Danish and the Belgian sailors napping? No, it's pretty tight start all the way across, and it's a very, very even start. Well executed by all 8 sailors, considering that this is a new format. They don't practice reaching starting. We're on board with Zoe Thomson from Australia, working hard, trying to hold her position in the lane. And France's Barrué is breaking out. You can see her sail number 221001 just getting ahead of Australia's Zoe Thomson. Erdi also doing well at the top end of the course. On the left hand side of your picture is Barrué, the early leader, concentrating hard, working that main sheet, working that tiller, and putting a lot of power through her legs, keeping the boat flat. And she is about to round the first mark and go on to the downwind leg. And now is the opportunity for the boats behind to go on the attack. This is where the leaders are vulnerable. Zoe Thomson going round the windward mark, going round the reaching mark. Oh, it looks like there's been a collision with the mark between the Polish sailor and the first turning mark, so that's a disaster for Agata Barvinska, and she's having to take her turn, so that's going to put Barvinska way back at the back of the pack. That is the runner-up, the silver medalist from last year's World Championship. Barvinska at the back. We're back with the leader, Barrué from France, Erdi from Hungary, also looking to go as quickly down these waves as possible. She's really left Emma Plasschaert behind. It looks like Emma Plasschaert might have had to take a spin there as well. I'm not quite sure, but Plasschaert looks like she's not going so well right now. Zoe Thomson going well up near the front of the pack for Australia. Sheeting in a lot of main sheet, then letting it run out again. These boats never go straight downwind. They don't take the shortest line from A to B. They try and get on every wave, and once they're on a wave, ride that wave for as long as they can, and once they've dropped off that wave, they go seeking the next wave set to see if they can maintain as much surf time as possible. And that's why you see our race leader Barrué zigzagging around seemingly quite randomly, but it's really not. There is a real pattern to the way that they're steering these boats downwind. Erdi very dynamic in the boat, constantly working that main sheet, taking it directly off the boom. And bottom left of our picture, Belgium's Emma Plasschaert also working hard and with a lot of work to do to get back on level terms with the leaders. This is one of the great attacking opportunities, this leg of the course, the downwind leg. There's Eve McMahon from Ireland, really throwing the boat around from side to side. Good surf for Emma Plasschaert, bottom of our picture. You just saw that acceleration. Still fighting hard to get into this race. With Lena Flem Høst just to windward of her, but now we're droning, zooming back in towards our leader, who's looking quite comfortable with, I would say, a 4-boat lead, 4-boat length lead for France's Marie Barrué. Looking over her shoulder briefly just to check where the opposition is, and you can see there are some nice rolling waves here that they're taking advantage of. Barrué really running by the lee there, the wind flowing, you could say the wrong way across the sail, but it's the fast way across the sail on these ILCA 6s. And now she rounds up around the lower mark, just misses it with her back. If she had hit that mark, she'd have to take a penalty spin, but that was a beautifully executed rounding, and now it's going to be much more congested for the pack as they go round now. And another really nice dodge of the mark there. I think that was Erdi we were looking at, but I'm not quite sure. There's Zoe Thomson and Anna Munch from Denmark taking an early tack out. Now Zoe Thomson as well, looking for clear air as Emma Plasschaert sails out, continues on port tack. So Plasschaert has hauled herself back into the pack, but look at Marie Barrué and look at the gap behind her now. This is where it becomes easier for the leader to defend, because she can put her bad air on the boats behind, but she's so far ahead of the next boats that that's barely a concern. Now she goes into attack. Attack successfully completed, and now she's going back into the middle of the course. So this is good defensive sailing from France, with a real stranglehold on this race right now. But there is an element of risk creeping in for the leader, because now we have the likes of Denmark's Anna Munch and Australia's Zoe Thomson, the bottom right of our picture, sailing out to the left-hand side. These are the boats that Barrué will be keeping an eye on through the window of her mainsail, whilst also looking over her shoulder at who's trying to attack her from the right. So the separation is building across the course. Here's Belgium's Emma Plasschaert hiking out almost up to full power conditions here. Anna Munch hoping for the best on the left hand side, with Zoe Thomson further to windward. Zoe Thomson winning this side of the race course, but is it going to be the best side of the race course? Clearly the leader, Anna Barrué from France, thinks that the greater threat to her lead is coming from the far side, because Barrué has tacked away towards the mountains in the distance, towards the right hand side of the race course. So massive separation between these sailors right now. 8 in the race, and just absolutely peppered with medals from World Championships, European Championships, Olympic Games. And Barrué, possibly one of the less decorated sailors, still really high quality sailor, but she's beating some really proven talent like Erdi, the 2023 world champion, Emma Plasschaert, the 2-time world champion, Lena Flem Høst, the bronze medalist from Paris 2024. That's the Danish sailor that we see bottom right of your screen now. And Australia's Zoe Thomson, well, she's had a great record here in Palma. The last 2 editions of the Trofeo Princesa Sofía by Fergus Hotels. 2 years ago, the Australian was runner-up, and then last year she was the winner. But meanwhile, here's the girl who is ruling in the Bay of Palma right now. It's Marie Barrué, getting towards the top of the course. This is the hardest work bit of the course. This is where the legs start to burn, because they are hiking out all the way in these conditions and still putting a lot of dynamic body movement in as well. So no rest for the wicked. Anna Munch's boat just passes behind Zoe Thomson. Zoe Thomson, the Australian, coming out this side of the course, and here on the far side of the course, Barrué working hard, putting in the effort, and keeping Mari Erdi, the Hungarian former world champion, safely tucked away to leeward of her. There's Denmark's Anna Munch. She sailed all the way from the other side of the course and now has settled in behind the race leader, and Zoe Thomson coming back in from the left hand side as well. Slight ease of the controls there as the wind lightens briefly. The sailors constantly adjusting the controls in these variable winds. And a little bit further to go towards the top of the course. Most of the fleet now on port tack, and pretty much everyone on port tack now. There isn't much ley line left for the boats on this side of the course, so whatever the wind does from now on, whether it shifts or not, there's not going to be that much opportunity for the boats on the left hand side to do much with it. They've really gambled on the left hand side being the place to be, and we'll have to see how that works out. But the leader, the most left hand of the white triangles you can see right now, Marie Barrué, really well positioned in the middle of the fleet, looking to defend any attack from the left or the right of her, and still with a little bit of ley line to play with. So a really tactically strong and comfortable position for the French sailor. And there's the red turning mark, the windward mark. Barrué slight lean forward and then lean back as she tries to keep the bow out of the next wave. So a lot of movement fore and aft to get the ILCA 6 moving as cleanly through the water with as little slamming from the waves as possible. And it's these tiny details that make such a difference at Olympic level. Marie Barrué tacking back onto starboard. Is that her last tack of this upwind leg? It could well be. We'll see soon as the orange mark comes into view, but it's all working out very nicely for her. She's managed to hold on to a healthy lead, not taking anything for granted though. Going for a little ease of the kicking strap, the vang that is one of the crucial controls that varies the power through the mainsail. Not quite one tacking it, but it doesn't matter because a tack is a pretty low tariff kind of maneuver in the ILCA 6. So 2 quick tacks, no wasted space on the race course, no need to overstand a ley line, and still a pretty decent lead. She's maybe given a little bit of the lead away to Mari Erdi, who just about manages to get round the mark cleanly ahead of Australia's Zoe Thomson. So a real battle on here between the second and third place competitors, and a bit of a gap behind them. So that gives a bit of breathing room for Thomson and Erdi to engage in a match race. And meanwhile, round comes Anna Munch from Denmark in fourth place. Looks like there's a spin for Emma Plasschaert from Belgium, so it's been a messy race for the Belgian double world champion, not managing to stay out of trouble, and that surely is the end of any hope of Plasschaert grabbing that €100 note across the finish line. I don't think it's going to be her day today, and nor will it be the Danish bronze medalist from Norway, Line Flem Høst, who brings up the rear in this star-studded 8-boat fleet. Coming towards the closing stages, and it looks like the top three are pretty nailed on, and there's only two that can really go on the attack to our leader here, Marie Barrué from France, and you can see there's still a pretty healthy gap. Barrué still working hard with every wave, trying to take advantage of every surfing opportunity, and going around the final turning mark. Nice jibe. Again, her back only just missing the turning mark, so not wasting any space, pushing the margins. Through the jibe goes Zoe Thomson, just past the triangular mark, and now it's the final reach to the finish. And now this is something that no one has done before in ILCA racing. They're going to have to reach out and try and grab a €100 note, and if you sail through the finish line and don't grab that note, you've got to go back round and get it again. But will you get a chance to do that? That the other two sailors are so close behind that Marie Barrué has to grab this note first time round, otherwise she is not going to grab the cash. Here she goes, the moment of truth. Olympic silver medalist Rafa Trujillo holding out the note for Marie Barrué to grab, and she's got it. She's €100 wealthier. So well done to the French sailor. A really emphatic victory for her. So great sailing by Marie Barrué, and beating across the line Zoe Thomson from Australia.
Congratulations, Marie Barrué from France. You are the first winner of the first race of the Sailing Energy Series. How does that feel?
Oh, I'm so happy. I was a bit nervous this morning because it was only big guys, around, and it was a new race format, so I really didn't know what to expect. So yes, I'm really happy.
And what made the difference for you in the race of today?
But I felt before the same stress than when I entered a middle race playing a podium, because it's like one race, one winner. So you're straight inside the games. It's exactly the same feeling on the last racing days of normal event. So very excited, a bit stressful, but it was really nice, short, intense. I'm there. It was great.
Very important question. What are you going to do with the €100?
I'm going to have steak tonight with my friends.
Congrats!
One
Thank
photo
you.
with the money.
Yeah, show me the money.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
nice.
you, guys.
Congratulations.
So congratulations to Marie Barrué. A really amazing victory for her. As you can see how happy she is, and there are the confirmed results, with France in first, Australia in second, Hungary in third. But well done to the whole 8-boat fleet in the ILCA 6. It's a great experiment, the Sailing Energy Series. It's the first time we've ever seen it, and what a great way to begin a new idea here in the Bay of Palma on a beautiful day of sailing. Well, you can be sure that the men, the 8 ILCA 7 competitors, will have been paying close attention to what the winning moves were on the race course for the women, including where was the best place to start on this reaching start line. Let's hear from Duko Bos.
Yeah, it sounds like you have to be the inside boat. And you can be even second and be inside boat and you still be getting the money. So yeah, it's very, it gets some new things in it, which has to make, you really have to rethink your plan compared to a normal race.
So it sounds like Duko's going to be going for the bottom end of the line near the orange flag, furthest from the committee boat. So let's see if he is true to his word on that. And what about some of the other competitors, as they are just in the final phase before the line-up for this reaching start? We're going to hear from a couple of other competitors, Pavlos Kontides and Filip Jurišić.
It's quite interesting. We will see today on the water. Pavlos already has some strategy.
Really? Which one?
Of course, you always, I cannot tell you, it's a secret. I mean, it should be fun, and since it's only at stake is 500 euros, but nothing to lose, not for us. It's really good that the Sailing Energy came up with this. And,
it's only 100 euros, by the way. Only 100.
Only 100. So everybody will be over the line. I'm joking.
So will Pavlos Kontides find the motivation to race for not the 500 euros that he thought, but for 100 euros? Surely for the Cypriot he's still going to be motivated by that. There's Pavlos Kontides in the lineup with McMahon, the double Olympic champion, world champion Philipp Buhl from Germany, with Duko Bos, a top 5 sailor from the Netherlands, George Gautrey, twice a world medalist from New Zealand, Filip Jurišić from Croatia, Gonzalo Suárez from Spain, and Jonatán Vadnai from Hungary, 4th in the Paris 2024 games. And now who is going to get the best of this start? There's 44 seconds to go, and this is new territory for the men, just as it was for the women. They're used to upwind starts, much easier to control your time on distance, and controlling your time on distance into a reaching start is potentially going to be a bit more challenging, especially with the lack of practice that they've had. We're on board with McMahon, the double world champion and double Olympic champion. You could say the most successful ILCA 7 sailor in the history of this single-handed hiking dinghy, and would surely start in this fleet as the favourite, with the Australian having such big pedigree. 2 seconds to go, and here they are, launched out of the line, and a really good start for Jonatán Vadnai out of the middle of the start. So early advantage goes to him, but no, he ducks out. So race committee, there is a boat over, and the Hungarian thinks it's him, but it's not. It's New Zealand's George Gautrey, and there is the NZL of the George Gautrey mainsail, and he is not going back. Gautrey clearly believes that he made a good start, but according to the race officer, it was the New Zealander that broke the line. But the man who's paid the price for that is Jonatán Vadnai, incorrectly guessing that it was him after it was an amazing start, who had to turn back. That's going to be heartbreaking for Vadnai. Meanwhile, with Wearn looking around, just gauging where the opposition is, and in the front few with Kontides just to windward of Philipp Buhl from Germany. So really tight between Germany, Australia and Cyprus, and New Zealand going round in 4th place. But as we know, New Zealand will not get a finish, disqualified for being over early on the start. Kontides, the double Olympic silver medalist, double world champion, working hard down the run. 2020 world champion from Germany, Philipp Buhl, finessing his boat down this first downwind leg. And there's Jonatán Vadnai. Well, you can't see the disappointment on his face. He's just got the focus of getting back into this competition as well as he can. And what an amazing start he got, but it was so good he didn't believe, well, he thought it was too good to be true. And with the 100 on the sail, that is the Australian McMahon. We're back on board with Vadnai, looking to play catch up and get back into the other 7 boats ahead of him. McMahon looking relaxed. He's in his happy place. And other sailors will be looking for any hints of how they can sail the boat, like Wearn, winner of 2 gold medals, the only ever winner in the men of consecutive gold medals in Olympic Games. You can see the rolling waves on the Bay of Palma. This is some of the most fun kind of sailing in the ILCA 7. It's not exactly high speed. It's not adrenaline sailing, but it is really subtle, difficult sailing to get right. And you could argue that winning in the ILCA 7 and the ILCA 6 single-hander is probably the hardest thing you can do in Olympic sailing, because the competition is so deep and it's so broad. Germany's Philipp Buhl goes into a jibe. Still very close amongst the front few. Germany's Philipp Buhl on the right. There he is, middle of our picture now. New Zealand's George Gautrey following him down, and then further back it's Gonzalo Suárez from Spain. Big lean over to windward for Buhl, and then another one, but that's okay. Buhl just quickly picking up the board, just doing a quick weed check on the dagger board, and then slams the dagger board back down again, ready for the rounding. And Philipp Buhl holding the early lead as he rounds up onto the first windward leg, followed by Wearn with 100 on his sail, and then New Zealand's George Gautrey gets round in third place at the moment. And an early tack out by Gautrey out to the left-hand side of the race course. And also for, I think that is maybe Pavlos Kontides, who's also tacked over to the left-hand side, with Croatia's Filip Jurišić, his training partner, carrying on out towards the right. But now Jurišić tacks as well. And at some point Philipp Buhl will look over his shoulder and think, well, most of my opposition are going the opposite way, but Wearn is still following him out to the right hand side, and Wearn is the biggest threat to Buhl's lead right now. George Gautrey leading the charge out to the left, and further up in your picture Philipp Buhl has now tacked onto starboard tack, so he's now into defensive mode and hoping that Wearn doesn't carry on too far beyond him, further out to the right hand side towards those mountains of Mallorca in the distance. George Gautrey showing great technique on the left of your picture, really working the boat through those waves. And here's Wearn coaxing every bit of boat speed out of this ILCA 7, leaning back, leaning forwards, hiking just enough to keep the boat at about a 5-degree angle of leeward heel. George Gautrey leaning forwards, working the boat and managing to keep Pavlos Kontides just tucked away on his windward hip, making life a little bit difficult for Kontides. Will the Cypriot be able to stay there? Because he's not far off falling into the bad air of Gautrey where he's sitting right now. Kontides does tack away onto port, so now Gautrey is quite exposed on the left hand side. Of course we know, he doesn't know, that he's not going to get a finished position anyway. No €100 stake for George Gautrey tonight, unfortunately. At the moment it looks like Philipp Buhl is going to be the most likely winner of that €100 note from the Olympic silver medalist Rafa Trujillo, the Finn Athens 2004 silver medalist behind Ben Ainsley that particular year. Gautrey really plugging away on that side of the course, and here is our race leader Philipp Buhl. Leaning back just to get the bow out of that wave. Leaning back again. George Gautrey doing okay on this side of the course, but still not quite close enough to threaten the German lead. Wearn on the far side, has he managed to make inroads in towards Philipp Buhl? It looks like Wearn might have gained a little bit of ground. So here is the moment of truth for Germany and Australia as they sail back on converging courses, remembering that Germany had a 2 or 3 boat length lead around the bottom of the course. So is it going to be enough for Philipp Buhl to keep the double Olympic gold medalist at bay? Yeah, it's still a pretty comfortable lead for Buhl. So he's being attacked on one side by Australia, attacked by New Zealand on the other. But Germany holds the advantage, and here is Jonatán Vadnai still playing catch up, the Hungarian who had that fantastic start, only to turn back and go back across the line when he'll find out later that he didn't need to. Philipp Buhl putting in a big roll tack, looking to put himself between the mark and McMahon. Still not making the ley line. He could have carried on a bit longer and done one less tack, but he's decided that just protecting the position against his closest rival is the more important thing. Great shot of McMahon from the drone there. McMahon looking over his shoulder. To the top end of this race course. 8 boats racing for €100. Great new experiment for Olympic sailing. The ILCAs tend to hide their light under a bushel. The class association over the years hasn't done a lot of media promotion. So one of the less visible classes in Olympic competition, and it's great that the Sailing Energy Series has decided to put the spotlight on the ILCA class and give them some much needed publicity, and hopefully this is the sign of things to come. It's all in the build up to the first of the Sailing Grand Slam Series events this season, the Trofeo Princesa Sofía by Fergus Hotels here in the Bay of Palma. So this is also great training in the lead up to the big competition coming up next week. And look how things are closed up. George Gautrey really attacking Philipp Buhl now. So Gautrey on the left hand side has made really good inroads into Buhl, who's now got a race on his hands. And Bull's going to be worried, but he doesn't need to be worried because Gautrey is not going to get a finish. But at the moment, Philipp Buhl has to assume that Gautrey is in the race. And this is one of the strange anomalies in sailing. You would think that Gautrey, for everybody's sake, would be pulled out of the race. If he was over the line, why is he still racing on this race course? It's a bit of a strange one. It comes up for debate from time to time, and I don't really understand why the New Zealander is still on the race course if he's not going to get a finish across the line. Anyway, it's making it more interesting for us because Philipp Buhl thinks that he is in a bit of a match race here against the New Zealander. Philipp Buhl just holding on to his lead towards the top of the course, and Wearn has dropped back into third place behind Gautrey. Philipp Buhl easing the controls and making that sail as big and baggy as he can for the downwind leg down to the final turning mark. So Buhl holding on to the lead. Gautrey ran in second, a good climb for him. Wearn going around in third, just ahead of Hungary's Jonatán Vadnai. So what a comeback by Vadnai after that go back and restart kind of start that he had. So imagine what the Hungarian might have been able to do if he'd sailed a clean race and just kept on going after that incredible start. But really good sailing by Vadnai to get back into contention, and now getting onto the air of Wearn and giving the double Olympic champions something to think about on this short leg down towards the triangular orange turning mark. Big separation side to side on this course, and that's because of all the zigzagging that they're doing, and also some big gaps opening up. Croatia's Filip Jurišić only just going around the windward mark now, to be followed by Gonzalo Suárez from Spain, the Spanish ILCA 7 champions. So a long way back, and it's quite surprising. It's not as tightly packed as we saw in the ILCA 6, and it makes Vadnai's climb back to 4th place even more remarkable. So really good sailing by Hungary, but even better sailing by Philipp Buhl, who hasn't really put a foot wrong so far. Still got a race on his hands though, because he's got New Zealand and Australia following close behind. But now is the final race, the reach to the finish, the reach out to grab that €100 note. Buhl taking a quick look over his shoulder. Wearn still looking to threaten the Australian with 100 on his sail. He's got 100 because Wearn thinks that he should be getting that €100, but not for Philipp Buhl, the German. The Germans always known to be careful with their money. Well, Germany's Philipp Buhl is just about to add to German coffers, and how is he going to spend that money? Well, he can't think about that yet because he may not grab it first go. He's got to grab it, otherwise Wearn is in danger of seizing the opportunity. But here comes the moment. He's already got a grin on his face. Philipp Buhl thinks he's got the money in his hand. He does now. Congratulations to Buhl. He gets the gold. He gets the €100. He wins this great new experiment, and he beats the double Olympic champion.
You are the winner of the first race of the Sailing Energy Series in the ILCA 7. How does that feel?
It's amazing. Like always when you finish a race and win it, and no, it's a nice little race, I think.
What did you think of the format?
Format is good. I mean, we in our class, we can just hope for some more media attention, and if this is kind of a way to show what amazing sailors there are in this class, then I think that's really good. And it's just a small race. It's basically just a show race, but they're some of the greatest sailers been and still in this class, and we almost have no media attention, so a little bit of that is quite nice. Winning it is even better, but yeah, it's a great start.
And what made the difference for you in this race? Looks like you were off for a flying start.
Exactly, I think it's very much like SailGP. A good start definitely helps, and then with the course that we have this time, with no bottom mark gate but only one mark, I think it favors the one who's leading down there. So maybe in the future we get gate marks at the bottom, or maybe in the top as well. But in this kind of course and this kind of wind strength with very little shifts, the good starts I was lucky to have was good, helpful.
And €100, what are you going to do with it?
A good question. Maybe dinner with my coach, because he told me to before the race. So
good.
No way out.
Anyway, congratulations and thanks for joining.
Can we see the money?
One
Yeah,
photo.
sure.
Yeah.
One photo with the money.
Oh yes! Yee!
Big check.
Another please.
Here.
So well done to Philipp Buhl, getting the €100, and he's going to treat his coach to a meal tonight. And there are the results confirmed. Buhl winning, Wearn in second for Australia, Hungary's Jonatán Vadnai up to third, amazing comeback for him, Pavlos Kontides in fourth, Croatia fifth, Spain sixth, Netherlands seventh, and George Gautrey, what a great race he sailed, but for being over the line a little bit too early, so eighth and last place for New Zealand. And interesting that Philipp Buhl made the comment that he hopes that this will be the start of more media coverage, more attention for these great sailors. As he says, some of the best in the world, they deserve to be noticed, and this Sailing Energy series is the first of a number of experiments that hopefully will convert into something bigger, maybe more money being held out by Rafa Trujillo in the future, maybe €500 like Pavlos Kontides said, maybe even more. But the most important thing is we've got to enjoy some of the world's best sailors racing in this new format today. Hope you've enjoyed it.